My name is Ethan Harper. I was 28 years old when this all began, back in December 2014. I lived in a small, old house on the outskirts of a quiet neighborhood in upstate New York. The kind of place where houses are spaced far apart, separated by wide yards and thick, endless pine woods that stretch for miles. In the winter, those woods turn into a black wall of shadows, swallowing any light or sound. Most of my neighbors were seasonal, families who packed up and left for the holidays, heading to warmer states or relatives' homes. The street became a ghost town every Christmas. My girlfriend, Sarah, had gone to spend the week with her parents in Florida. I stayed behind because of work, a deadline I couldn't miss. At first, I was excited about the solitude. No distractions. Just me, the house, and the peaceful holiday vibe. I decorated a small artificial tree. In the living room, strung multicolored lights around the windows, and even hung a wreath on the front door. The snow started falling lightly on the first day, covering everything in a soft white blanket. It felt cozy. Perfect. I spent the first night binge-watching old Christmas movies, eating takeout, and sipping hot chocolate. The house felt big but comforting in its emptiness. No arguments, no schedules, just peace. But on the second night, December 22nd, everything changed. It was around 6:30 p.m. The sun had set hours ago, and the world outside was pitch black. Snowflakes drifted lazily past the windows, piling up on the driveway and yard. I was in the kitchen, making a simple dinner, pasta with chicken, nothing fancy. I'm not much of a cook, Sarah usually handles that. I had the TV on in the living room for background noise, some holiday special playing low to fill the silence. The house felt a little too empty without her, but I was getting used to it. That's when I heard it. At first, I thought it was from the TV. A faint singing. I turned down the volume to listen better. Jingle bells. But it wasn't from the TV. The voice was coming from outside. Deep, male, slow, and slightly off-key. Like someone who didn't quite know the tune but was forcing it anyway. My stomach tightened a little. Kids? But there were no kids nearby, and it didn't sound like children. It sounded adult. Grown man. I walked slowly to the front door, the singing getting clearer as I approached. It was definitely from the porch area. I peeked through the small window beside the door. Under the yellow glow of the porch light, there he was. A man, maybe mid-40s, standing right on my stoop. He wore a thin jacket, not nearly warm enough for the weather, no hat, no gloves. His hair was dark and messy, his skin unnaturally pale. He was staring straight down at the welcome mat, singing Jingle Bells in that slow, looping way. He finished the verse, took a breath, and started again from the beginning. I felt a strange chill that had nothing to do with the cold outside. Christmas carolers? Alone? A single grown man? I'd never heard of that. Usually, it's groups of kids or church people. But he didn't look threatening. Just odd. Confused, maybe. Like someone with mental issues. I opened the door a few inches. The freezing air rushed in, biting my face. Hey, you okay? He didn't react at first. Finished the line he was on, then looked up. His eyes locked onto mine. Dark, empty, unblinking. And he kept singing. Same song. Same tone. I forced an awkward smile. Thanks for the caroling? Merry Christmas. I closed the door slowly, hoping that would be the end. It wasn't. The singing continued. Right outside the door. Louder now, as if he was pressing closer. I stood there for a minute, listening. He looped the song again. And again. 4 minutes passed. 5. I checked my phone, almost 10 minutes of non-stop jingle bells. This wasn't normal. My smile faded, unease turned to irritation, then to real discomfort. I opened the door again. Listen, man, appreciate it, but it's getting late. You should head home. No response. Just singing. Eyes still fixed on me. I closed the door firmer this time. Locked it. Deadbolt too. The singing didn't stop. I went back to the kitchen, tried to finish dinner. But every bite tasted like nothing. The voice filtered through the walls, muffled but persistent. Jingle bells, over and over. 20 minutes. 30. My food went cold. Finally, the singing stopped. Sudden silence felt louder than the song. I crept to the window. Peeked out. He was still there. But now at the end of the driveway, standing perfectly still in the snow. Facing the house. Staring at the front door. Like he was waiting for something. For me. Goosebumps ran down my arms. This felt wrong. Predatory. I opened the door a crack. Hey! You can't stay here. This is private property, leave or I'm calling the cops. No movement. Not even a blink. I slammed the door. Heart racing now. I decided to ignore it. Went upstairs to the bedroom, locked that door too. Turned on all the lights. Tried to read a book to calm down. 20 minutes passed. I thought he was gone. Then, faint singing again. From behind the house. The backyard. I jumped up, rushed to the back window. There he was. Standing directly below my bedroom window in the deep snow. Staring straight up at me. Singing jingle bells. His face was lit by the upstairs light spilling down, pale, expressionless. Pure terror hit me. I slid the window open. Cold wind whipped in. Get out of here. I'm calling the police right now. The singing stopped instantly. 3 seconds of dead silence. Then, the scream. Not human. A guttural, deranged roar, like something from a nightmare. Pure rage and madness. He bolted toward the back door. Full sprint. The first impact shook the entire house. He threw his body against the door. Then kicks. Pounds. Twisting the knob violently. Bang. 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 I felt the vibrations upstairs. The door rattled in its frame. He was trying to break in. I grabbed my phone. Hands shaking. Called 911. Someone's trying to break into my house. Hurry. The operator kept me on the line. I backed into the closet, grabbed a baseball bat from the corner. Hid in the dark, breathing hard. The screams and bangs continued. Endless. Insane. Then, sudden stop. Silence again. I stayed hidden until blue lights flashed outside. Police searched. Found deep footprints, under the window, to the back door, then straight into the woods. They said it was probably some disturbed person. Happens around holidays. Keep doors locked. They left. The house felt colder. Emptier. Wrong. He never returned that week. But that night changed everything. I thought it was a random crazy. It wasn't. This was only the beginning of something much darker. If you thought that night with the caroler was the start of it all, you're wrong. The terror began much earlier, back when my son Jake was just a little kid, innocent and full of excitement about the world. This happened in December 2004, right after his 6th birthday. We were living in a quiet suburb outside Dallas, Texas. Normal family, normal house, picket fence kind of life. Jake was starting to get into sports. He loved watching basketball with me. I was a big Mavericks fan, and even at his age, he got hyped about the games. For Christmas that year, we spoiled him a bit. He got a new Odell Beckham Jr. jersey. He was obsessed with that insane catch that had been all over the news during his birthday week. Plus some Mavs shirts and sweatshirts. But the big gifts were tickets to actual games. First, the Mavericks vs Thunder on December 27th. Then, another one versus the Wizards on the 30th. His first live NBA games ever. He couldn't stop talking about it. The first game was pure magic for a kid. The arena was alive, lights flashing, crowd roaring, music pumping. We had good seats that time, closer to the court. The Mavs pulled off a close win, something like 112-105. Jake was jumping up and down, screaming every time there was a dunk. On the 45-minute drive home, he chattered the whole way about the players, the atmosphere, how loud it was. My wife Marianne and I just smiled, he was in heaven. 2 days later, the second game. Seats weren't as great this time, row 20, up in the corner section. Still, the energy was high. The Mavs were dominating, up by 20 or 30 points by halftime. Jake was having fun, but being 6, he got restless. Wanted to explore the arena like a big kid. Halftime hit, and we all went to get food. Lines were insane, holiday crowds. We waited forever, maybe 20 minutes. I split off to a different stand for hot dogs, while Marianne and Jake's older brother stayed in another line. Jake was with them, but he finished his pre-game candy and spotted a trash can about 30 feet away. "I'll throw it out myself," he said proudly. Marianne nodded, close enough, she could see him. He walked over. That's when the man appeared. Tall, white guy, mid-30s or so. Plain clothes, jeans, jacket. Nothing stand out. He approached Jake casually. "Hey, kid. You lost?" Jake shook his head, shy. The man crouched down a bit. "I don't see your parents around. Come on, let's go look for them." He reached out and took Jake's hand. Jake didn't pull away. He was little. Trusted adults. Thought it was help. The man led him away from the concession area, toward the stairs leading up to the nosebleed sections. Talking softly the whole time, "We'll go to the information desk. They'll announce your name over the speakers. Your mom and dad will come right away." Jake nodded. "Okay." They climbed higher. The crowds thinned out. Fewer people. Quieter halls. Up top, almost deserted. The man glanced around, coast clear, then steered Jake toward an emergency stairwell or service elevator. Jake couldn't remember exactly later. But something snapped in him. Those stranger danger talks from school flooded back. This guy had no name tag. No uniform. No reason to be helping. Fear hit hard. Guilt too, why did I go with him? The man let go of his hand for a second to pull out his phone. Jake bolted. Ran as fast as his little legs could go, down the stairs, back toward the lights and noise. He glanced back once. The man was just standing there, watching him run. With a small, thin smile. Like he was amused. Jake found his brother in the line. Breathless, scared, but didn't say a word. His brother hadn't even noticed how long he was gone, didn't want to admit losing him and get in trouble. The second half started. Mavs crushed it. Won big. But Jake wasn't cheering anymore. Sat quiet. Face pale. On the drive home, he stared out the window. We asked what was wrong, tired, he mumbled. Then, halfway home on the highway, a loud honk. Aggressive. A black truck roared up behind us, tailing close. Then pulled alongside. Jake turned. It was the man. Driving. 3 other dark figures in the seats, silhouettes, faces hidden in shadow. All staring straight at our car. Marianne rolled down her window, yelled something like "back off." The truck matched speed for a minute. Staring. Then accelerated and vanished ahead. Jake went white. But still, said nothing. That night, he fell asleep fast, exhausted. Around 2 a.m., screams woke us. Jake, thrashing in bed. "There's someone outside." At my window. We rushed in. He pointed at the curtains, shaking. A flashlight beam was sweeping the room. Cutting through the dark from outside. He swore he saw the man's face pressed close to the glass. Staring in. We grabbed flashlights, ran outside. Searched the yard, street, bushes. Snow on the ground, no fresh footprints we could find. Nothing. Chalked it up to a bad dream. Too much excitement. Comforted him back to sleep. New Year's Eve, a couple days later. We were up late, watching the ball drop on TV. Family tradition. Doorbell rang minutes before midnight. I answered. A man standing there, holding flyers. Sorry to bother, looking for my cousin's lost dog. Polite, normal looking, but Jake heard the voice from the living room. Froze. That's him. The man from the game. He spilled everything then, the hand holding, the upper levels, running away, the truck on the highway, the flashlight. We were stunned. Called the guy back, already gone down the street. Reported it to police. They took a statement, but no evidence. No cameras caught anything useful from the arena. A full year passed. Jake seemed okay, pushed it down. Then, next New Year's Eve. Tap on his bedroom window. Second story, how? He looked out. A paper taped to the glass, this new year, you'll meet me again. We ripped it off, called police again. Searched, nothing. From then on, Jake changed. Refused to go to any more games. Basketball's not my thing anymore. Always closed his curtains tight. Got jumpy around holidays, strangers, crowds. He grew up carrying that fear. Years later, when I connected the dots, the careless build matched descriptions Jake gave as a teen. The empty stare. The persistence. It wasn't random strangers. It was the same people. Or group. They'd been watching our family for years. Targeting us. And the caroler, he was just the next step. They never stopped. After the incident at the NBA game and the years of quiet fear that followed, we tried to move on as a family. Jake grew up cautious, always checking windows, avoiding crowds during holidays, but life went on. By 2010, he was 12, and we had added a younger daughter, Lily, to the family. We moved a few times, eventually settling back in upstate New York, closer to where I grew up. The house was bigger, still isolated, with those same thick woods behind it. We wanted to create new traditions, good memories to overwrite the bad ones. One thing Marianne and I always talked about was cutting down our own real Christmas tree. Not the fake one from the store, something authentic, like in the old movies. A family adventure in the snow. In early December 2010, we found a remote tree farm online, up in the mountains. Reviews said it was beautiful, quiet, no crowds. Perfect for us. The place was unmarked, deep in the forest, park in a small lot, hike in with saws or axes, pick your tree. Illegal technically, no permits, but people did it all the time. The site promised lighted posts in the parking area, so it wasn't total darkness. We decided to go on a cloudy Saturday. Snow on the ground from earlier storms, air crisp, sky heavy like more snow was coming. Jake was excited despite his usual wariness. Lily, only 5, was bouncing in her car seat. We packed flashlights, thermos of hot chocolate, snacks, and an axe. The drive up the winding mountain roads felt magical at first. Twisting through pines, snow dusting everything. Christmas music on the radio. We sang along, jingle bells, of course. I remember glancing in the rearview at the kids' happy faces and thinking this was exactly what we needed. In early December 2010, we found a remote tree farm online, up in the mountains. Reviews said it was beautiful, quiet, no crowds. Perfect for us. The place was unmarked, deep in the forest, park in a small lot, hike in with saws or axes, pick your tree. Illegal technically, no permits, but people did it all the time. The site promised lighted posts in the parking area, so it wasn't total darkness. We decided to go on a cloudy Saturday. Snow on the ground from earlier storms, air crisp, sky heavy like more snow was coming. Jake was excited despite his usual wariness. Lily, only 5, was bouncing in her car seat. We packed flashlights, thermos of hot chocolate, snacks, and an axe. The drive up the winding mountain roads felt magical at first. Twisting through pines, snow dusting everything. Christmas music on the radio. We sang along, jingle bells, of course. I remember glancing in the rearview at the kids' happy faces and thinking this was exactly what we needed. We found a good clearing with tall, full trees. Kids circled them. Jake helped Lily look for the perfect one. Then, soft crunching behind us. Slow footsteps in snow. I turned fast. About 20 feet back on the path, a man. Pale skin, thin windbreaker, not dressed for cold. Bare hands red. Face stiff, like frozen too long. He stood there, staring. Marianne grabbed Lily close. Jake froze. The man smiled, too wide, unnatural. Stepped closer. "You folks looking for a Christmas tree?" His voice deep, soft. Broke the silence like glass. Jake said yes, excitedly before we could stop him. Panic shot through me. Didn't want him knowing anything about us. Marianne quickly, "No, just taking a walk." He stepped closer again. Smile still there. "Don't worry. I'm not a ranger." He said it like he knew we were trespassing. Something was off. He looked desperate, hungry eyes, unshaven, dirty clothes. Like homeless, or worse. I told Marianne quietly, "Time to go." We started back, trying to pass him casually. He didn't move aside much. Just nodded as we went by, still smiling. Jake kept looking back. "Is he following?" "Keep walking," I whispered. Every glance back, he was closer. Not running. Just steady steps. Dragging boots. We sped up. Heart pounding. Reached the clearing to the parking lot. "Run." Marianne scooped Lily, sprinted. Jake ran with her. I stayed back a second, axe in hand, facing him. He stopped. Hands up halfway. Still smiling. "No harm. Why not head to your truck?" "Truck." He said truck. We drove an SUV. How did he know? I backed away fast. Halfway there, Marianne screamed my name. At the vehicle, both right tires slashed. Flat. No time to think. Marianne called 911, spotty signal. Walked around for bars. I put kids in the car, locked doors. She got through. Explained, stranded, threatening man, child with us. Operator serious, locked doors. Stay inside. Police and tow coming. Signal choppy. Then Marianne pointed, tree line, multiple figures. At least 3. Shadows in the dark. Watching. 2 started walking toward us. Slow. No hurry. Like they knew we couldn't leave. Operator asked about weapons. I mentioned the axe. She said, use it if needed to protect your family. Lily crying now, Jake trying to be brave but shaking. The 2 got close enough to hear, we're here to help. Waving. But dressed like the first, thin clothes, worn, unbothered by cold. Not rangers. Then, sirens in distance. The figures turned, ran back into woods. Police arrived fast. Spotlight on us. We explained. They searched, found tracks spreading deep into forest. Probably squatters or drifters. Camps out here sometimes. Tow came. Police stayed till we were safe. Drive home silent. Kids asleep eventually. We never cut a real tree again. Avoided those mountains. But later, connecting everything, the pale man matched old descriptions. The group watching. They'd been there too. Waiting in the woods. Hunting families like ours. And they knew how to strand us. We were lucky to escape. But I wonder, how long had they been watching before we saw them? This one hits hardest when I think about it, because Jake was completely alone. It was December 2012. Jake was 9 years old now, old enough that we trusted him home for short stretches. Marianne had to run to the grocery store for last-minute Christmas dinner stuff: turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce. I was working late at the office. December was always crunch time. Lily was at a friend's house for a playdate. Jake was excited to have the house to himself for a bit. He parked himself on the couch in front of the fireplace, Christmas tree lights blinking, a plate of cookies beside him, watching some old holiday movie on TV. Outside, it was already dark by 5:30 p.m. Snow wasn't falling, but the ground was white, and the streetlights made the houses across the road glow with colored lights. Classic Christmas scene. Everything was calm. Then the doorbell rang. Jake froze. It was late for visitors, and we never got random ringers. Mom had always drilled into him, never open the door when you're alone. But curiosity won. He tiptoed to the front door and stood on his toes to look through the peephole. Standing on the porch, bathed in the yellow porch light, was Santa Claus. Full suit, red coat, black boots, big belt, white beard, red hat. Even a sack over one shoulder. But he wasn't carrying a bag of toys. He held a clipboard, and he was standing way too close to the door, like he was expecting it to open any second. Jake's heart started racing. At 9, he no longer believed in Santa, but seeing one on your porch is still weird. He whispered through the door, "Who is it?" The man tilted his head closer to the peephole, like he was trying to see in. Then, in a deep, forced jolly voice, "Ho ho ho! It's Santa. I have some special gifts for a boy named Jake. Open up so I can give them to you." Jake backed away a step. This didn't feel right. Santa doesn't ring doorbells asking kids to open doors. Santa comes down chimneys. And how did he know Jake's name? He found his voice. "Go away. I don't need anything." The man went quiet for a few seconds. Then, "Are you home all by yourself, son?" That did it. Jake's skin crawled. He turned and fast-walked back to the living room, sat on the couch, pulled a pillow to his chest, and stared at the TV pretending everything was normal. But then he heard it, the front doorknob slowly twisting. Testing if it was locked. He held his breath. A minute later, noise from the back of the house. The back door handle rattling. The man had run around the side, trying the other entrance. Jake realized, only 2 doors in the house, and this guy was checking both. Panic full on now. He grabbed the cordless phone from the table and hid behind the couch on the floor, dialing Mom's cell. She answered on the second ring. "Mom. There's a man dressed as Santa trying to get in." He tried both doors. Marianne's voice went sharp. "Stay where you are. Do not open any door. I'm coming home right now. Hide and stay quiet." She kept him on the line while she drove. Jake curled up behind the couch, phone to his ear, listening. Small sounds outside, footsteps crunching in snow, light taps on windows, like checking if any were unlocked. He didn't dare move. Finally, tires screeching, Marianne's car pulling in fast. Brakes squealed loud. Door slammed. Keys in lock. Front door flew open. "Jake." He ran to her, nearly knocking her over. She dropped grocery bags, hugged him tight. She locked the door again and peeked out the window. Down the street, walking away under the streetlights, a figure in a full Santa suit. Marianne grabbed her keys again, rolled down the car window as she pulled up near him, and yelled, "What the hell do you think you're doing at my house?" The man turned, nervous. "Just collecting donations for charity, ma'am." Door to door. She didn't buy it. Screamed at him until he speed-walked away. Back inside, she called the police. They came, took a report. A couple neighbors said the same Santa had knocked at their doors too, asking for donations, seemed sketchy, left fast when pressed. But none of them had a kid answer and admit they were alone. Police searched the area. Found nothing. We double-checked every lock, installed better ones, added a chain. Jake slept in our room for weeks. Every Christmas after that, Santa decorations made him tense. Mall Santas? No way. Even jolly songs felt wrong. Years later, when Jake described the man's build, the voice, the way he moved, it matched the others. The caroler. The man at the game. The pale figure in the woods. Same group. Using holidays. Using costumes. Waiting for the moment a kid is alone. We were lucky the doors held. Lucky Marianne got home fast, because if that back door had been unlocked, I don't let myself finish the thought. They were patient. They were always watching. And they weren't done with us yet. By 2014, I thought the worst was behind us. Jake was 16 now, a teenager, tall, quiet, still carrying that shadow from childhood but functioning. He had friends, played video games, did okay in school. Lily was 9, full of energy, oblivious to most of the old scares. Marianne and I had settled into the new house in upstate New York, the one with the woods behind it. We kept locks strong, curtains closed at night, avoided risky traditions. Life felt stable. Then came that December night, the one with the caroler. The endless jingle bells. The stare. The backyard. The scream and the banging. When police left and I sat alone in the kitchen at 3 a.m., shaking, something clicked. The man's build. Mid-40s, pale, thin coat. The way he moved, deliberate, patient. The empty eyes. It matched Jake's old descriptions. The man from the game. The flashlight. Even the voice Jake remembered from the doorbell lost dog guy. And the woods footprints reminded me of the mountain treks years ago. I couldn't sleep. I started digging. First, old police reports from the NBA incident. Vague, stranger approaching child, possible attempted abduction, no arrest. The Mountain Tree Farm case, multiple unidentified males, slashed tires, threats implied. Tracks into deep woods, possible squatter camp. Case closed, no suspects. The fake Santa, suspicious person in costume attempting entry, new child was alone. No prints, no capture. All separate. All unsolved. But the patterns. Always holidays. Always Christmas or New Year. Always isolated moments, game halftime, alone at home, remote woods, always pale, underdressed men. Patient. Watching first. And our family. Always us. I searched online for similar cases in the area. Missing persons around holidays. Runaways? No, some adults too. Hikers. Families. One case from 2008, couple cutting tree in same mountains. Car sabotaged. Never found. Another 2011, child home alone, Santa costume sighting. Child vanished next day, later found safe, said Santa took me for a ride but wouldn't say more. Chills. Local forums, old news articles. Rumors of a group living off-grid in the mountains. Drifters. Or worse, a cult. Some called them winter watchers. Stories of them targeting families during Christmas, isolation makes it easier. They used holidays as cover. Carolers. Santas. Helpful strangers. Jingle bells as a signal? I told Marianne the next morning. She went pale. Jake overheard. For the first time, he opened up fully, details he'd buried. The man at the game had hummed jingle bells quietly while leading him upstairs. The flashlight night, he swore he heard faint singing outside. The note on the window a year later, written in red marker, like blood. Smelled weird. We connected everything. It wasn't random crazies. It was organized. A group. Stalking us for over a decade. Why us? I dug deeper. Old property records. Our house, the land backed onto protected forest connecting to those mountains. Family history. My grandfather owned land up there once. Sold it cheap in the 70s to a community group. No names, perhaps they never left. Perhaps they felt entitled. Or resented us. Or something darker, some ritual tied to families, to Christmas. We installed cameras. Motion lights. Alarm system. Months passed. Quiet. Then, Christmas 2015. Jake, now 17, home from a friend's party early. Doorbell late at night. He checked camera app on phone. A man on porch. Thin coat. Staring at Matt. Started singing Jingle Bells. Jake didn't open. Called me at work. I rushed home. Man gone by arrival. But camera caught him clear. Facial recognition app, nothing. Police again, same shrug. But footprint in snow, led to woods. We knew. They were back. Closer. That spring, I hiked the woods behind our house. Alone. Stupid, maybe. Found signs, broken branches, old campfire ashes. Deeper in, a clearing, old tents. Trash. And carved into a tree, our family name. Harper. With a date, December 25, 2016. Next Christmas. They were planning something big. We considered moving. But where? They knew us too long. Instead, we prepared. Guns. Safes. Friends on alert. But fear grew. Jake started having nightmares again. Singing in his sleep. Lily, now 10, said she saw shadows at her window. Marianne couldn't sleep. And me, I heard it sometimes. Faint jingle bells on the wind. From the woods. They were returning. Not just watching anymore. Coming closer. The countdown had started. Whatever they wanted, it was almost time. After the carolers' return in 2015 and finding our family name carved into that tree with a date, December 25, 2016, I couldn't sit still anymore. Waiting for them to come to us wasn't an option. We had to know what we were dealing with. Spring 2016. Snow melted, woods greener but still cold at night. I started small hikes behind the house, mapping trails, looking for signs. Marianne begged me not to go alone, but I promised short trips, daylight only, phone charged, told her my route. At first, nothing unusual. Deer tracks, old beer cans from teens. But deeper in, maybe 2 miles, things changed, broken branches and patterns. Not random. Like paths cleared quietly. Small clearings with cold campfire rings. Ashes recent. One day, I found a plastic bag buried shallow, inside, rotten food wrappers, a torn Christmas card from years ago. Red and green, faded. Chill ran through me. I marked spots on a map app. Jake, now 18 and graduated high school, wanted in. Dad, I'm not a kid anymore. If they're after us, I need to help. Against my gut, I let him join one hike. We went deeper than I ever had. 4 miles in, rough terrain. Found a stream. Followed it uphill. Then, smell. Wood smoke, faint. We crouched, moved slow. Through trees, a clearing. Bigger than expected. Tents. 5 or 6, camo tarps, patched. Clotheslines with thin jackets hanging. A fire pit in center, embers still warm. And Christmas decorations, old, weathered strings of lights draped on branches. Plastic Santas nailed to trees. A fake tree, dead, brown, in the middle, ornaments dangling. In April. Jake whispered, "What the hell?" We stayed hidden behind pines. Movement. 3 men emerged from tents. Pale. Thin clothes even in spring chill. Same build as always. One hummed Jingle Bells while stirring a pot over the fire. My blood froze. They talked low, couldn't hear words. Then one pulled out photos from a box, pinned them to a board under a tarp. We crept closer, risking it. Photos of families hiking, at arenas, homes from outside, and ours. Dozens. Me leaving work, Marianne shopping, Lily at school bus stop, Jake driving. Recent surveillance. Years of it. One photo, our house from the woods, zoomed on Jake's window. Another, the mountain parking lot, our old SUV with slashed tires. Proof. This was their camp. They lived here. Off-grid. Watching, Jake's hand shook on my arm. We backed away slow. But a twig snapped. Heads turned. One man stared our direction. We ran. Branches whipping faces. Breathing hard. Behind us, shouts. Footsteps. They chased. We knew the trails better, shortcuts I'd mapped. Lost them after a mile. Burst out near home, collapsed in backyard. Called police anonymously, tip about illegal camp. They raided 2 days later. Found the site. Abandoned. Tents gone, fire cold. But evidence left, photos, ours missing, probably taken, Christmas stuff, carved trees with dates and names. Other families too. Police finally took it serious. Multi-year stalking case. Possible cult. Searched wider. Found shallow graves deeper in mountains, old bones, some with holiday wrapping remnants. Cold cases reopened. But the group? Vanished. Like they knew we were coming. Police said they migrate seasonally. Deeper woods. Or other states. We got protection order. Patrols passed house. But quiet again. Summer passed. Fall. Then December 2016 approached. The date carved, Christmas Day. We didn't wait. Booked a trip, far away, random hotel under fake name. But Christmas Eve, storm hit. Flights cancelled. Trapped home. That night, faint singing outside. Jingle bells. Multiple voices now. From the woods. They'd come back. For the final night. Christmas Eve, 2016. The storm hit hard, blizzard warnings, roads closed, airport shut down. Our escape plan gone. We were stuck in the house. Police patrols increased after the camp raid, but officers called off due to weather. Stay locked in. We'll check when roads clear. We weren't taking chances. Boarded windows. Guns loaded, mine and Jake's, he'd learned to shoot. Motion lights on. Cameras rolling. Doors barricaded with furniture. Kids in the living room with us. Lily, now 10, scared but trying to be brave. Jake, 18, angry more than afraid. Let them come. Marianne baked cookies to keep normalcy. Christmas movies on low. Tree lights blinking. But tension thick. Every wind howl sounded like footsteps. Midnight approached. Power flickered. Then out. House dark except fireplace glow and flashlights. Backup generator kicked in, partial lights back. Then, singing. Faint at first. From the woods. Jingle bells. Multiple voices. Slow, off-key. Harmonizing wrong. Chills. Cameras, infrared showed shapes at tree line. 5. 6. Maybe more. Thin coats. Pale faces in night vision. One stepped forward. The caroler, older now, but same empty eyes. Held something. A sack. Like Santa. They spread out. Encircling the house. Front door knock. Slow, deliberate. Then back door. Windows tapped. Voices calling, ho ho ho, time for gifts. Lily whimpered. Jake at window, they're trying side door. Banging started. Not frantic. Methodical. Testing weak points. We shouted, "Police coming! Leave!" Laughter outside, muffled. Singing louder. Power cut again, this time deliberate. Generator wire sabotaged. Darkness total except fire. Phone lines dead. Cell signal jammed or storm. Trapped. They knew. Front window smashed. Glass shattering. Arm reached in, unlocking. Jake fired warning shot through wall. Screams outside. Retreat temporary. But more glass breaking. Back door kicked. I rushed there, held with barricade. Body slams. Wood cracking. Marianne with kids upstairs. Closet fortified. Jake with me. Door splintered. First man in, the caroler. Face painted like twisted Santa. Beard fake. Eyes mad. Lunged. I swung axe, kept from Wood's trip. He dodged. Knife flashed. Fight in kitchen, chaos. Jake shot, missed. More pouring in. Overwhelmed. They dragged me down. Tied. Marianne screamed upstairs. They went up. Jake fought, took one down. But numbers. Bound us all in living room. Around tree. Leader, the original pale man from Woods, smiled. Spoke finally. Voice deep, calm. You took our land. Your family. Generations. Grandfather's sale. They were descendants. Or cult born from it. Saw us as intruders. Christmas their ritual. Isolation. Family. Pure. Sacrificial. Wanted us on holy night. Knives out. Red ribbons. Singing started again, circle around us. Jingle bells endless. Terror peak. Then, sirens distant. A neighbor saw smoke, they started small fire outside? Or patrol braved storm. Flashing lights through windows. Chaos. They panicked. Some fled. Police burst in, shots. Leader lunged at Jake. I broke free partially, tackled. Jake shot. Leader down. Others scattered into storm. Police secured house. 3 captured. 2 dead. Rest gone. Cult broken? Or remnants? Evidence from camp linked everything, years of stalking families. Dozens affected. Some never found. We survived. Moved far away. New names almost. Therapy. Healing. But every Christmas, I hear it sometimes. Faint jingle bells on wind. And wonder. Did they all get caught? Or is one still out there? Watching, waiting for next family. Next Christmas. Because they never really stop. The eternal carol goes on.